Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jen. If you're new here, welcome. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the 7 common mistakes that I see people making when trying to organize. So let's go over them, and I'll also include how to fix them. Let's get started. Mistake number 1 is organizing before decluttering. Decluttering gives your organization purpose and makes it last longer. So the first tip that I usually tell people in any space that they're organizing is to pull everything out, and you're going to basically create categories. So if you're organizing your kids' playroom, then you're going to go ahead and add categories. You're going to have the dolls, you're going to have the cars and the books and the puzzles. Put everything into a like category. It doesn't have to be super specific, especially when it comes to kids' things. They're never going to keep a system like that. So by having just dolls, just cars or things on wheels, automotives, however it is that you want to categorize it, keep those in specific areas. You can use extra bins that you already have on hand, or you can literally just put them on the floor in piles, which is usually what I do. And then you're going to go through each category and figure out what it is that you need or don't need. Have your trash pile, have your donate pile, and have your keep pile. You're definitely going to want to get rid of things that are broken. If they're still really in good shape but your kids just don't play with them anymore, you can do one of two things. You can either donate it right away, or sometimes I hid it in the bin and I put it in the back of the closet, and then if they ask for it a couple weeks later, then I'll know that it's something that they actually want to keep. But you definitely want to go through and figure out what it is that you no longer need so that you can live in your space. The whole point of decluttering is to make sure that you don't have too much stuff, but by keeping things that might be junk or might be broken, doesn't serve a point. Then create a system around what is actually staying. Mistake number 2 is buying storage before you actually need it. What I mean by storage are those cute little bins and the fun little labels that you see everyone making that are all over Pinterest and all over Instagram. Yes, they're fun, yes, they're cute, but you have to have a process in order to make everything work. I've definitely been there. I go to Target and I see a cute little bin, think, oh, I could use this somewhere. But by the time I get home, I realize, A, I don't have enough of them to make everything look nice, and you're gonna have mismatched bins. Or it doesn't end up fitting in the space because I didn't take proper measurements. So you definitely wanna make sure that you've gone through everything, categorize what you need, and see how big or large of a bin or container it is that you need before you go ahead and start organizing and putting everything back. It makes no sense to purchase something that you're just gonna have to return later, or like I said, having mismatched bins, unless that's your thing. For me, not really. I'd rather have things looking a little bit more cohesive, even if it's not perfect. So the fix, wait until after you've decluttered, measure your space, and then go out and purchase your items. Mistake number 3 is to not label your bins. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with labeling. I definitely think that it can get overcomplicated. You don't want to subcategorize things too deeply. For instance, we'll go back to my kids' toy room. If you have dolls and you have like a small amount of each type, so you have a couple Barbies and you have a couple Doorables and you have a couple whatever else, you probably don't want to subcategorize that too much, especially when it comes to a kid's playroom, because they're never going to keep that type of system. But even for your own well-being, sometimes it's good to just group them together. So just have a group of dolls, not actually individualizing them into the subcategories that they are. So labeling is always great, especially when you have a ton of family members and they might not know where something goes. It's good to definitely label. So the fix for this is to label what you can. Mistake number 4 is, I mentioned it earlier, overcomplicating it. If you have a system that's gonna take 10 steps to put a box of cereal away, it's never gonna work. So you wanna find a system that works for you and what you need with your lifestyle, especially with kids, because let's be honest, it's hard enough to get them to clean up as it is. If you're gonna make the system too complicated, they're never gonna follow it. So creating a simple bin with like categories is definitely the way to go. If you want a smaller niche down, like say in your makeup or someplace like that, maybe a place that you maintain but not has to do with other people, that'll definitely work. But don't overcomplicate the system or it's just gonna fail. You definitely want to set yourself up to succeed, and so the best way to do that is to just simplify as much as you can. Mistake number 5 is maintaining your system. As a professional organizer, I've definitely seen people who will pay to have a service come in, organize their stuff, and then they kind of think that it's done. It's like a one and done deal, but that's really not true. There's always things that you're coming in with, whether it's groceries, new clothes, new toys, it doesn't matter. Stuff is always entering in your house. And so by maintaining it, you're gonna definitely make sure that you don't have an overwhelming amount of clutter that you then have to go through and completely reorganize. That's the one thing I will say. Organizing, you should be able to do once, but then maintaining is gonna be something that you have to constantly do. Just like your yard, just like your car, any of those things you have to have maintenance, otherwise the system's gonna fall apart and then you're gonna have to go through the entire process all over again. So choose which space it is that you wanna maintain, maybe pick one a week and go through it. Some spaces like your closet probably don't have to go through except for once every 6 months at the change of seasons. Something like your toy room, you should probably go through more often, like once a month, depending on birthdays and how many toys your kids actually bring in. But then something like your pantry or fridge, I would say you should probably do that at least once a week. In all honesty, that's what I do, is I go through everything. I don't necessarily look for expirations, but I see what it is that I have and what I might need to either toss or get rid of or use up before I actually go out and purchase any of my groceries. Not only does that help me save money, but it helps me to constantly declutter and make sure that I'm not getting things that go into the back of the closet to die. We don't want that. So make sure that you maintain your space. Mistake number 6 is forgetting about the hidden or high traffic areas. So places like your entryway or under your bed, underneath your kitchen sink or behind the closet. Those places definitely need to have your attention as well. It's not something that needs to be done on a regular basis, but we want to make sure that every place has a little bit of harmony. Any little bit of attention you give is going to help the entire system run a little bit smoother. Mistake number 7 that I see a lot of people making is trying to copy other people's work. I know there's all these pretty pictures on Pinterest and Instagram of people having these aesthetically pleasing kitchens or pantries, bedrooms, playrooms, whatever. And in all honesty, that's not reality. It looks great on a picture, but that's not something that people actually live with every day. And if it is something that they live with every day, trust me, it doesn't last that long. There's no one that goes to the store and buys 15 products of a can of something. Like, who really uses that? I mean, it's just, no, it's not real. So what you wanna do is you wanna make sure that you're creating a system that works for you, whatever it is that you have. Don't look at my stuff and think that it's gonna be exactly what you need, just use it for inspiration. There are definitely places that I have in my house that are more aesthetically pleasing, such as, I would say, maybe my pantry. But then if you go into some of our closets, it's just what functionally works. It might not necessarily be pleasing to the eye, and that's okay. As long as it's a system that works, as long as it's something you can easily maintain and that keeps everything clutter-free, that's golden. You really don't need anything else. Okay, friends, how many of these mistakes have you made? I've made all of them at some point, so don't feel bad. Let me know in the comments below which one hits home and which one you actually want to work on this week. If this video was helpful, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and hit subscribe. It really does help my channel and it encourages me to create more content like this for you guys to have. So until next time, I'll see you later, guys. Bye.